What if rock bottom was the very ground you needed to rise? My guest today, Alex Pellegrini, was arrested 13 times before the age of 21. Struggling with addiction, violence, and self-destruction. He almost didn't make it out alive. But he did. And what comes next is nothing short of remarkable. At just 26 years old, Alex is now the proud owner of ANP Auto Detailing in Southern California, devoted partner, and father to a beautiful daughter. But his journey didn't start in success. It started in pain, loss, and generational patterns he had to unlearn to break free. From early exposure to alcoholism and grief, to years of addiction and time spent in jail, Alex shares how a series of rock bottoms eventually cracked him open, and how a final act of surrender helped him start over. This is a raw and real conversation about trauma, identity, and the power of rebuilding from the inside out. Whether you're in the middle of your own struggle or supporting someone else on theirs, Alex's story is proof that transformation is possible, even from the darkest places. Hi, Alex.
Hello.
I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you so much for having me.
I've known Alex for a little over, 4 years now has it been? When did you come out?
I think my first time detailing your car has been roughly close to 3 years.
He's a remarkable young man. And getting to know Alex through coming over and detailing the cars and so forth, I just really wanted him to come on the show and share his story, his life, and he was very gracious to agree. So let's start. Your early childhood. What was it like growing up in Kentucky?
Of course, went through struggles, but growing up in Kentucky, it was awesome apart from everything I did have to go through. But, you know, my dad and mom raised me, but we also lived at like my grandma's a lot, my great grandma's. And she had acres upon acres of like land. So being a kid and you have all these woods to go play in and things to do, it was amazing.
Well, you had that extended family.
Right.
You said grandma, great grandma.
Great grandma.
That's amazing.
Yes, for a year, we'd go live on our own and then come back at times to help her as well, because she also ended up getting Alzheimer's.
That's a true family unit.
It was cool. Even being close to second, third, fourth cousins you would see. You could have Thanksgivings and things like that.
Just got everybody running around and it's giant potluck.
Yeah.
I was just talking to my sister about that we need to do a better job about really extending that family so that the cousins know each other as they're growing up.
Right.
And sort of my mom's generation, they're starting to get sick and some of them are no longer with us. And we need to make sure that we continue those bonds all the way down. Because in times of struggle, when people are sick and people need to come together, having that foundation, I think, is really important to surviving and then learning to thrive. Right? Because no matter your struggle, you still had a foundation in love. Can you tell me a little bit about the struggles that you had?
Struggles that I remember is like dad working super hard just to provide for the family and, still struggling a lot of time and having to see that as a young kid. You don't really think nothing of it, but of course you get a little older and you start understanding more. Mom partied a lot. She drank a lot. And sometimes I was involved and I was dragged around with her, but sometimes dad didn't let that happen. Sometimes it's kind of times like fighting, you're not bringing them.
So you had to witness that parental struggle of what's best for the kid.
Right.
And
I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest. So it really affected you because the other ones were a little bit older. Could choose whether they were going or not.
And it wasn't never like separation or anything like that. No. They never separated. It was just more so like, am I going to my uncle's to party? And, they didn't do nothing like super wild or crazy, but just sitting around getting hammered.
And just watching that.
Yeah, just seeing it.
And watching people's control slip.
Right.
Okay, so your mom got sober when you were 11.
I'd like to say somewhere around. Could have been a little earlier.
You went from being dragged around and parties and watching some arguing about what's best for you to then she started figuring herself out a little bit and got some help and got sober. How did that shift the energy in your household? And did you still have older brother and sisters at home by that time?
Yeah. I still had older brothers and sisters. I believe around that time. I know my oldest sister, she had moved out. I wanted to say whenever she was around like 17, she started moving out and doing her own thing,
Mm-hmm.
which back home, it's more normal, things like that. 17, especially when you turn 18, it's more normal to start shifting away. She just probably wanted to go out and
Find some independence.
and it's just like growing up back then, you turn 18, you either get out of your parents' house, go to college, or you get out of their house, you go to construction, factories, coal mines, and pretty much build your life around those. That's pretty much all we have there. We don't have nothing else, really. That's literally it.
You know what, like you said, the land and the sense of family and a little bit of a slower pace.
No, there's definitely there's a lot of that peace of mind out there because of just being so close with your family, maybe, and everything kind of being more relaxed, calm, slow going.
There, I think you can pause a little bit more and just be. Did you feel like the emotional energy in the house shifted when your mom got sober?
Oh, 100%. Once she, got sober, and she did it all on her own. So it's super.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's super impressive because a lot of people can't do that. Right. Most, going from that and seeing it, it definitely did because she started going back to school, getting master's degree.
That's amazing in it. So you tell the audience a little, your mom's journey. Here's another win for someone being able to pull themselves out of a very dark place. Fortunately, had supportive family, but when his mom got sober, she went back to school.
Right.
She got her master's in
mental health and substance abuse counseling. She focused more on substance abuse counseling.
And what did she do with that?
Helped others. People that's like us.
She gave back, right?
Yeah, gave back. Yeah.
She decided that, pulling herself through that she was going to give back to other people that were struggling and suffering and became a counselor.
Right.
Right.
And like me, for instance, she felt like how I did, more so in that, I don't want to go to a counselor, a substance abuse counselor, if they never went through it. So she's like, I've went through it. I want to help. I want to get back. So, people wanted to listen to her.
Yeah,
because,
she understands at the very raw fundamental level of addiction, which we were talking about before we started recording, how because I don't have that, whether it's the gene or that mental wiring, can have compassion and I can love you, but I will never be able to completely understand how that it can consume your soul.
Right. And that's what makes you so great too, is being able to understand, but knowing you don't understand to our level like that. I have a lot of people that are like, oh no, I get it.
You'll never get it.
You'll never understand it.
Unless you've been through it with any kind of trauma.
Right.
Again, you can analyze it and look at the genealogy of it and, how did this come to be? But you're never going to really get it.
Right.
And so again, you can have compassion and I can love you and I can honor you and be in awe of your journey. But I will never be able to say I get you. Yeah. It's more of an awe. Right. It actually comes from the complete opposite. I can't imagine that you being able to rise from above, I'll say what you did with your life, but it's a combination of very poor choices and I don't know, being dropped in Kentucky and, it's sort of lessons that you chose or that you were given to learn here on earth.
Right.
And so far you're killing it, dude.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. It means a lot.
Did you come to notice later on how your mother's addiction affected your behavior or your emotional state at those younger ages?
I would like to say so. Of course, being that young, seeing it, being around it when you're younger, you're not thinking of it. So you think it's kind of normal. You're like,
it's familiar.
Yeah, this is cool. So you see everybody doing it, your uncles, friends of the family and all this other stuff. There'd be times that I'm super young, maybe 4 or 5 years old, but I'm sneaking sips of beer just to feel cool at a young age, just to feel.
Why is everybody so happy? Let me try that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's I want to be part of what you guys are going on.
You want to be part of it.
Yeah. I want to be part of it. It's normal. It seems to be at least.
Anxiety often comes with addiction too. It becomes like a soothing, right? But when did anxiety or that emotional weight first start showing up for you? I want to be part of it. I want a little something of what they're doing. When were you conscious of it?
I would say I was conscious of it maybe around. Now that I look back, I can remember it was more so around I'd say 6th, 7th grade, maybe. So I was probably more so around 11, 12, possibly something like that.
Sure.
I was more aware of like anxiety, and I didn't realize it at the time.
Did you have anxiety at that time?
Yeah, now that
Just
I
didn't
look
know what it
back,
was called?
right. I would be
Okay.
sitting there and, heart starts beating, and I'm just like, I couldn't like talk to people, right? Because how my anxiety affected me. I felt out of place, sweats, hand sweats, and like all kinds of other things that came along with it. I just didn't know what it was.
Do you think that some of that is because of, I don't want to say what you witnessed, but the environment that you were in? Did you think any of that influenced?
I think it did. As I got older, I started learning more about fight, flight, or freeze. And I felt like I've always lived in a state of fight, flight, or freeze from the time that I remember, 2, 3 years old, and seeing the things that I've seen and went through. I felt like it's my brain picking up on those things, or like situations that maybe, or it thinks it's in harm's way, but it's not. And I go to fight, flight, or freeze mode, to where I get maybe socially really awkward at the time, or I get really scared. I leave the situation.
Which one does your brain go to? Does it go to fight, flight, or freeze?
It's combination for me. If I feel I am in a threat, I go to fight mode. If I feel that maybe something is off place, out of balance, like, certain situations, I will go to freeze mode, to where it's just like, oh, that was awkward. Or if I just feel like the flight mode, if I'm in harm's way.
Will you leave, like physically just
Yeah.
abandon? Or
Right. When I first got down here, just coming from the background, when me and my girlfriend was in the car, I'm sitting there looking in the mirrors because I'm like, I don't trust people. Like, I was in that mode, like, of survival.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't trust people.
So that carried all the way over.
Yeah.
Do you still struggle with it a lot now, even though you've been sober for a decent amount of time?
I do. I'm definitely do. Not everything's peaches and cream over here.
No.
A lot better. I would say I'd much rather have these problems. But for me experiencing this, I experienced it a lot when I really got down here, because that's when I went into, a lot of people haven't heard of it, but it's like DPDR, a derealization personality disorder. Fight, flight, or freeze. Your adrenaline starts going. Your brain starts protecting you. So that's when I start looking up anxiety, stuff like that. And that's what I kind of read up on and studied.
Can you say that again, what it was?
The DPDR.
DPDR. What does that stand for?
Derealization personality disorder. From my understanding, and the people who have gone through it, it's caused from an over buildup of trauma, which trauma study today is a buildup of like super stress.
Sure.
Me doing what I do, my field, baby at home, just always
everyday stress.
Right.
Sure.
So it's just a buildup of not like releasing it properly. Your brain will send you into protective mode. It's your brain protecting you. So it sends you into the fight, flight, or freeze. In these situations, it will send me into, I believe it's the freeze mode, to where you just go numb. It looks like you're looking at the world through like a glass door. Everything is kind of cartoonish. You don't feel real. In your head, hamster wheeling, like, just feels like you're going crazy.
Is it a problem solving that you're trying to do to get out of it? Or is it just, I went blank?
It's more, I would say, problem solving. Like, I'm trying to figure
out how to get out of it, right?
Right.
Okay.
And then once you start doing that, you start getting scared. So your brain protects you even more. So it's constantly in. The only way I learned, and other people have learned to get rid of it, and it could take months, it's more so accept it. Hey, nobody else is feeling like me, like, because you feel you're not yourself. Like, you feel different, you, in some cases, I would almost like to say it feels like I'm on like a high.
Yeah.
Where you're just there. You're numb. You don't feel nothing, no feelings, no nothing. You're just shut off.
Is it you talking to your brain being like, this is real?
Yeah.
Right. Because you're sort of dissociating from your body now.
Right.
How do you talk yourself back into your body? Or do you just have to wait for it to pass?
You pretty much have to wait for it to pass. Accept it. Let it be. Let it run its course, and accept it, and want more of it, because the more you want it, the more your brain realizes it's safe and okay.
Do you have to tell your brain, hey, you're just processing trauma, so just let it roll through?
I forget about it, honestly, and I invite it in. I don't try to think about anything. I invite it in.
So you're not trying to solve it away?
Yeah, because whenever I used to do that, when I didn't know really what it was, the first time I went through it, what literally sent me through it is I was working at, the pet spa at the time, and I stopped and I started thinking, and I was like, we're in outer space right now, floating on Earth. And I'm telling you, it like
Freaked you out?
freaked me out like so bad. And literally I felt my adrenaline go and I almost passed out because I was so freaked out. And from there, it wasn't the same. To everybody else, I'm normal. But in my head, I'm sitting there like hamster wheeling thoughts of how did I get here? What am I? Who am I? Like crazy things.
Wow.
So
So
it's pretty scary.
is this a disorder that you'll have to live with for the rest of your life, or in times it'll peak and not, or is it something you can move through?
It's something you move through. At times it does still peak, but like now that you learn about it, you kind of more so accept it so it doesn't last as long. So sometimes I'll have it last for 3 minutes and then I just forget about it and I'm out of it. And sometimes there's been the 2 times I've done it and I've stayed in it. Like the first time I done it, I stayed in that particular thought, that loop for, I'd say like 2-3 months.
Really?
And every day, the first thing I thought when I woke up was, am I real? Is this real? Am I in a dream?
Oh,
Every day I was like going nuts.
that's terrifying. Yeah. Like literally you think I'm not going to be right ever.
Right. Literally. And it's scary. And then I went through it again last October is when it hit me again. And I was just like, oh man. But then that's when I started doing the actual reading upon it. You know, a lot of people don't know about it. You know, I was trying to find therapists that like maybe that was their area, but a lot of them was like, I don't know what that is. And I'm like, look it up, do research. But then I started like talking to other people have gone through it. And, you know, of course, Google and YouTube. I'll start watching a bunch of things on YouTube and studying it more. Doctors on YouTube, because there's doctors out there that study it and do everything. And I just started to accept it.
Okay.
Once you accept it, like last October, it went away in like a month.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh, dude, thank God. Because every day I was literally waking up and was like, is this real? Am I going to have to go through another day of this? I quit detailing during last October, like maybe for 3 weeks, a month straight, to where I was still detailing. I was doing maybe 1-2 cars in the morning. And then I was so freaked out
that you couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, I was just like, I just want to go home and sleep. I don't want nothing to do with life.
But even with that challenge, I mean, knowing that you have this and that every time you've had it, it's passed, it's got to give you some sense of self-empowerment, though.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
But it's yet another thing that you can conquer, trying to squash it so it's never there again, but that you come back to yourself every time.
Right. And I think another thing that's helped me is also being aware of it and knowing that
that's what it is.
Yeah. Being aware and like starting to learn my own body still. Yeah, I'm 4 years sober in, but I'm still learning my own body. You got to think I spent from about the age of 12 to 21 drinking. So, I mean, that's.
And not just drinking, it was heavily drinking.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't like your normal party high school years.
No,
it was. So let's go there. Like at 12,
right,
you started drinking, we talked about. And at 16, you were selling weed.
Right.
What was it pulling you into that life?
Pulling me into that life was, I would say, more so wanting the attention.
Attention. Okay.
Attention. I've always got attention at home and everything. I was absolutely loved, no matter what my mom went through, no matter what my dad went through.
You were absolutely loved.
Loved, 100%. My family, everything. I would say it was more so of just wanting other people's attention, because growing up in that style of environment, like schooling, a place like that, you know, in order to be somebody, you know, kids in elementary schools are getting like bullied for people being like broke and poor and not wearing a specific type of shoe.
I know.
And so it's a lot different back that way. So kids are getting bullied.
And their haircuts.
Right.
And, oh, sure.
It's a real thing
very
out that
sad.
way. Right. And so my thing growing up, you know, was always being with more so with the preppy kids back home. Because if you was a prep in school, then you got like all the beautiful girls being young. You know, I'm worried about like girlfriend, but just elementary, middle school, high school things.
Was it like the preppy kids? Were they the cool kids?
Exactly. I stayed with the prep kid. I'd like to say they accepted me, but there was sometimes I felt left out. It's like, I'm really not this person that you guys think I am or who I say I am to you guys. Like at home, I'm actually really, you know, I'm broken. We actually struggle. We're actually like poor. We actually don't have money. But some of my friends own their own coal mines. You know, I'm going to people's houses with basketball courts.
Did you feel like an imposter a bit?
100%. But I felt like their parents never really liked me, just because I felt like they maybe thought like
they were judging you because you guys were poor.
Right. You know, and it's like,
I'm just
8 years old. Yeah. But I felt that at a young age. Felt that a lot my life throughout school. So once I ended up getting to I'd say a little bit of middle school is when I started changing a little bit.
Yeah.
But then once I ended up getting to high school is when everything really changed. I had two best friends back then, but I was always the problem child out of my family. Like they never got into the thing. They would just come with me. But, we was in like the projects and I felt more accepted by my project friends, my hood friends.
Do you think that was you, or was it truly you were more accepted?
I felt like I was truly more accepted because we all came from the same struggle.
It's similar, like you don't know unless you know.
Right. I knew a lot of us was poor,
Mhm.
so it's like, I don't fit in with these preppy kids. I fit in on the streets. That's how I felt. I was running the streets from a young age, from high school on. I started getting into more street activities and I played basketball my whole life. I ended up quitting basketball in 10th grade, quit football in 9th grade, and I was pretty good in both. I was really more talented in football, but I quit it first because they started drug testing. I got weed in my system. I got liquor in my system.
And so because of what you were doing to your body, you knew you had to not participate in sports.
And by that time, I was smoking heavily. So it was slowing me down.
Performance-wise too.
Yeah, because I don't want to do sports. No, like I could be out hanging out with my friends instead of going to football or basketball practice or a game or something. It's like stupid.
But it's not stupid to a 15, 16-year-old. It's not, that's what's going on in your world. It's all about your friends and being accepted and fumbling through figuring out your identity.
Right.
And that goes on your entire life. Everybody's confused. Everybody has low self-esteem. Everyone is struggling in those junior high and high school years.
I was playing football since 3rd or 4th grade. And then I started basketball in 6th grade. So it's just like years upon years of just same routine every summer, every school year. So at that point, I was using it as an excuse to try to justify me quitting it.
Okay.
But I was justifying it to go get high off weed, drink more, party more with friends.
Let me ask you this. How did drugs and alcohol change how you felt about yourself? Because it sounds like you were choosing getting high over being sports. And there's also a certain type of kid that's in sport, right? So now you're gravitating more and more towards lifestyle choices, right, that are making you less healthy.
Right.
How did that change how you felt about yourself? Because you said you were pretty talented in football and then you're going down this route.
I didn't really think nothing of it. Coming from doing all that, the thing is, I could have done something with football. I definitely probably could have did college, but I always was so down on myself. And I was never smart in school. And that's another thing that I masked a lot. And the way to mask it is be funny, be that tough kid.
The goof off.
Yeah, be the person that doesn't care. So I was like, I'm not going to be able to do nothing in football, go to college anyways, become stupid. So ain't no way I'm going to be able to do nothing with football. So I'm going to go to something else. I never even seen myself working a job. I was just like, I was so weak.
So your opinion of yourself wasn't super high to begin with.
Because I felt like I was being bullied. It'd be like friends picking on friends. You're just young, picking on each other, but you don't realize what it's doing. So like,
for girls, we call that frenemies. You're friends, but you're the butt of all the jokes.
Right.
You're the token friend that they're sort of nice to you, but they also rib you a lot, or they also put you down.
And no matter if it was like a joking way, because that's what it was. Because if we wasn't in that mode of being in joke mode, then yeah, we'd be out playing basketball, football. Like I would be cracking jokes on them too. But then some of the things that was said, or just things I would notice in being in school, like I'm not smart. I'm not, just knowing it at a young age, like this ain't for me.
You know there's different kind of smarts now, right?
Oh, definitely.
You can't be that dumb. You have your own business at 26, a crew and contract. So you know that there's okay. Just to make sure.
I would like to say I am more so worldly street smart.
Street smart, sure. Business smart too.
The thing with me, like I took weed selling.
There you go. You had a business then.
Right. So I applied it to something legal when I started changing my life. And it was like, oh, I'm really good with numbers now.
See, there's always a lesson in everything that you learn. Right. So you had to be smart enough to sell weed, sort of not get caught at least for a little while. Right. I mean, you got to look at it different.
That's how I looked at it. And after all the jail trip, I was like, screw all the illegal business and making money illegally. Why don't I turn it into something legal and be able to run numbers in my head that makes sense?
Well, that's just smart and survival. You were going to end up dead or in jail at some point, 100%. Right? Or really both.
Yeah.
So we talked about your cousin's death and heartbreak around the same times. Looking back at it now, do you think it scooted you farther along the addiction path and everything that comes with it?
I'd say so, for sure. Definitely. So when I noticed I was really starting to get more involved with a lot of drinking, it was like 2016 when I really started picking up. But my cousin died in January 5th or 6th of 2016. And we're like more than cousins.
You were like brothers.
We're brothers. So, and we was always with each other. Like he was either at my house and we was fishing, or we was at his house doing the same thing, finding things to do, or at my grandma's house. Cause the way we grew up is how close our family was. Like my grandma lived on this corner. His grandma lived on this corner. Our other aunt lived right here in this corner, and the family friends lived right here. That pretty much was like family as well, of course. Still super close with him. But, we had 4 houses on a corner.
Yeah, just to kind of roll
family,
through. Right.
All family. And it literally same bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
So we was super close. It affected me super core whenever he had died.
How did he die?
I'm super bad car accident.
So
Yeah.
just
So being like
instant.
And I don't necessarily know if it was instant. I try not to think about it. But he was in the hospital. Like he didn't look himself. I was too scared to go visit because my sister did. And she was like, don't go. She's like, he don't look like him. And at the funeral, they had open casket and it wasn't him, So it affected me hardcore. I was at like my friend's house that night. I got the news of, hey, Dustin's been in a wreck. We don't know if, he's going to make it. I'm 16 at the time, but I'm kind of just like, I have to continue to be myself with the friends that I was with.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm in my head, I'm like, oh man, 16, like this is bad. So we instantly all started drinking that night. But then I woke up the next morning, I'm pretty sure they're like, yeah, we had to pull the plug or whatever, he's dead. So when death first hits, you don't really feel it because it hasn't sunk in yet. But within that first week, it was sunken in, and it was a horrible feeling, especially being so young,
Just lost. Yeah. No reason. I mean, he's already so young. There was no disease. It just,
right.
It's so hard to comprehend.
Yeah. Like, they're just like, I was just with you like last week, the week before, like so fast, you never expect.
Did you drink more as that loss started coming up? Because now you don't have your right-hand man to go hop around the houses with and so forth.
Right. No, definitely did.
Do you think that influenced how much you started drinking, perhaps to fill that space?
Oh, for sure. It definitely played a role with my drinking. Once it got to that point, I started justifying everything to start drinking. Around that time, to numb myself, we started drinking, and I started going to Panama City Beach, Florida for a spring break all by myself at 16 with a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
We was all 16, 17. I hung out with
Not
18.
a good idea.
Right. And I went up there and lived probably like a 30-year-old. I was in clubs. We was buying liquor out there. Being 16 years old, they didn't ID you certain places. I never got addicted to drugs, but we was doing pills up there. Like we did like Molly, done Adderall. We like mixing it all together, and we was just in party mode at a young age. That was one full week of just party and drinking. I didn't have to think about life back home. I didn't necessarily think about the death of my cousin, the girlfriend I had lost, all these things that I was going through before I went there. I was out there partying and was like, I can be myself around these pretty girls, and I talk so much better with them, and they love me. I remember at 16 years old thinking to myself, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to
party.
Oh yeah, I want to work the bare minimum, party my ass off, and live life on the beach.
It's a typical 16-year-old, I would say.
Right. I should have took it as a sign, though.
You don't know what you don't know. At 16, I mean, God, your brain is just now fully starting to become whole.
Right.
So the frontal cortex, which is where we make decisions and where we process information, it doesn't mature, I'll say, until about, for boys, 26 to 28. So as much damage as you did to your brain and your body, you're just coming out of it with an unusual amount of clarity because of how much experience you've had. So that maturity level is really going to sink in, and you're going to be able to make much better choices for you, healthy choices, before some other people that maybe didn't have a lot going on until then. So they're not faced with struggle and death and anxiety and feeling stupid in that sense, book smart.
No, for sure.
So then they hit their mid-20s and the first thing that goes bad happens and they don't have a foundation for dealing with stress.
Right.
I do think that everything happens for a reason.
For sure.
But I do think also God gives you choices. So he just kind of keeps setting things in front of you. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do now?
Certain paths.
Mm-hmm.
With me in the religion, the way I've always looked at it, you know, and I am Christian, there's also evil on this earth. So I've always looked at it as in like Satan might take a plan, you might take that plan, but then God says, I'm going to flip that plan. I'm going to give you a different plan. I'm going to use that bad plan for good now.
Mm-hmm.
Watch what I can do. You know, watch the path that I create now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you just even thinking about your mom.
Right.
She took that and years of struggling, flipped it, wanted to help other people, got the education she needed to do it, and is helping on a foundational level now.
Right.
That's a classic, like, you might have taken her for those years, but now I'm going to give her this.
And I'm sure we'll probably get into the mom part more, but, you know, she ended up going through aneurysms, rupture.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so she's not able to do it no more, but she's still trying to find her. You know, I say Satan takes away one thing, but God says, I'm going to give you another.
Right.
You know,
so she's just got to.
We got to figure out that.
Yeah. And I call it the next.
Yeah, right.
Right. So I never thought I'd be doing a podcast. I'm the girl that likes to work behind the scenes and works on you and works on the CEOs and then sends you guys out to go change the world. So doing this for me has really been sitting with what my sense of purpose is now and sharing the great stories that I hear and perhaps my struggles and how I have been able to overcome certain things and get it out there so that people have resources. Like you said, you got on YouTube and you started so that those are out there so that we can help people.
No, that's 100%.
This is kind of my next. I mean, I still am a PT and I still do that and I still love it. But it's like, I felt like, you know, I see one person at a time. How do I get to more people?
Right. You know, they say your career is what you're paid for. Your calling is what you're made for.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So
it's very true. And if you can mix both.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. God gives us all one gift.
You get lots of gifts and talents.
Oh, of course. Of course. You know, if we work in our gifts, we're now figured out what we're meant to do. And I'm not saying my gift is detailing, but my gift is talking with people.
Sharing your story.
Right. I've had a lot of people cry to me and that they needed to hear something that I've said. And they did nothing but help me. They've helped me doing that because I'm like, oh, I've helped you.
Yeah.
I don't know what my next client's going to go and do.
Exactly.
They might be going through something and they might go in and try to commit suicide or something, but I might help them by saying something they need to hear.
Absolutely. And detailing, having clients and new clients and regular clients is giving you the path to meet people and to be able to talk to them.
Right.
Right.
Share hope.
And he does do awesome detailing, I might say. But it's the sharing of hope.
Right.
Well, how did we get over the last 3 years, just, you know, get to talking and understanding each other's lives in that sense, and that our purpose, our missions are very similar. It is to help.
Yeah. It's so wild. And that's what's so cool about the detailing. You never know who you're going to run into. I never would have thought running into Chrissie and being there doing a podcast.
I know. Like, 3 years later, I was like, come on my show.
Even before then, just coming here and us just having our conversation for an extra 30 minutes.
Yeah, talking about business or people or
help me financially, like advice, learning from you.
I know. But that's because I saw it. I saw the spark. I saw the want, the hard work. And so even from the business perspective or whatnot, I'm always going to give you everything that I have as far as information or, hey, try this or be aware of that if someone's asking.
Right.
Because again, it just helps further people along.
Right. That's so cool. People like you are the people that I listen to, people who are doing better than me, people who are happy in life because I want to learn how to be happily stable. And, you know, I'm not saying our lives are perfect or maybe your life's perfect. But
no, I think it's about finding peace.
Right.
And owning or accepting that struggle, whether it's daily struggle or big struggles or money struggle or kids struggle, it's always going to be. You can't have your happiness or your day be dictated from what's happening to you. To me, finding the peace is about, okay, this happened. I'm going to deal with it. And then I'm going to go back to my baseline. And my baseline's pretty high, right? As far as tone, like I'm a happy person.
Right. That's, you know,
so
that's the
it's not, oh, my day was so bad because this person did this to me or this person said that to me. It's like, well, that's theirs.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay here. You know, the first thing I ask, well, is that true for me? And I say, no. Okay, then I can release it pretty quickly now versus being like, why is that person so mean? I don't know what's going on in their day, but I don't spend time reflecting on that. It's not mine.
You know, that's what I picked up on. I was like, man, literally like happy like all the time. Well, at least when I run into her.
I would say my baseline is I'm a very content. I have a happy tone.
Right. So
Right.
that was super
and a
cool
part of
to
that,
me.
like also wanting to be helpful and just, it's just the way you choose to look at life.
Exactly.
Are you looking at it as opportunities and blessings, or are they hardships and have to?
Yep.
And that makes a huge difference in just what you feel like during the day.
Of course it does.
I've had my years, like bundles of years where I felt like everything was a have to.
Yeah.
It didn't quite affect my entire personality all the time, but like where it just really dragging you down. And then you got to look at those things and be like, are they yours even? And if they are, what are you going to do about it? We just had this conversation before we started recording today about, you were talking to your aunt and just talking about everybody has things that happen to them.
Right.
But at what point are they yours now? At what point is it, are you not the way you are because all of these people did these things to you?
You know, you got to own up to it at a certain age. I feel like when you got to put on your big boy, big girl pants and own up to them and not let them knock you down no more. And that's pretty much what ended up happening to me.
Well, and giving away like, okay, that's not mine, or I just don't want to do this. And actually having, I don't know about wisdom, but having the want to figure out something different.
Right.
And then when you're asking for help, God sort of puts people in your pathway that gives you the opportunity to grow.
Literally.
Right?
That's all it's been down here for me is absolutely like blessings upon blessings of all the people I've ran into. It's only been literally, I think throughout a whole detailing path, maybe 3 or 4 people that were super negative and I had to fire.
That's not, that's actually not a bad ratio.
Like
numbers
compared
wise
to the thousands I've done, just in contacts, like a contact in my phone of clients I have is like 750 people altogether. I've detailed maybe 1,500, 2,000 people.
Sure.
And for 3.5 years, I'm coming up on 4 years that I've been down. And that's just my blessings that's come to me is running into so many positive people and people that like literally are now my friends.
Yeah. What you have to attribute some of that to, I think, is that it's energy.
Right.
Attracting energy.
Right.
So because you have a mostly very sunny disposition and you're not actually afraid to talk very real, you're not trying to hide who you are
At all.
Right. And so what that attracts just from an energetic standpoint is people that are like that.
Right.
Is people that are attracted to real people and that you're attracting people who aren't judgmental. So part of that is, yes, you working hard and being good at what you do, but yeah, sometimes luck of the draw, it's your attitude and your just natural energy is going to attract in more positive people.
Right. And that's so cool.
It is the law of attraction. You attract what you are,
right,
not what you want.
Yeah, if I'm a grump, I'm going to attract a bunch of grumps.
Sure. And you're going to attract other people who just like to complain.
Right. Yeah.
And that doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah. Not for me either. For me either.
You're the first interview of the season 2. And the focus of the season is really on truth, of accepting, acknowledging, understanding truth, and just living in that, not necessarily having to make decisions or changes, but just before you can do that, you have to build this foundation of what really is.
Right.
You know, what are you telling yourself? No, it doesn't matter what people think, but what are you telling yourself versus what truth?
Right.
Right. I think you've always lived in your truth, which gives you a very particular and I would say early wisdom in which you can see the world and what's really going on behind all the hustle and the bustle.
Right.
What's real and what's not. Did you always have it? Is that what it made it rough? Because you were arrested like 13 times between 18 to 20. Like that was, you know, you started drinking at that high party point at 16 and then it really started going downhill for you.
Right.
So during that time where you kept getting arrested, did you know what you were doing?
I believe so. I knew what I was doing. I was in a state of mind and a place in my life. I didn't care, honestly.
You didn't care.
I didn't care.
You didn't care if you lived or died or were punished.
Yeah. I accepted my fate for anything that was around that area because clearly good cannot come out of this. I've been to the ERs multiple times to get, when you're in that life, that's just what you do.
And all of the arrests were alcohol related.
Yeah.
They violent crime. It was public intoxication. It was getting in fight. It was drinking related.
Yeah. Everything I did was because being drunk. I even caught a charge at 17 years old that they tried to trial me as an adult. And it was all because drinking. and because of a girl. But if I was sober, I wouldn't have cared. I would have been like, dude, I don't care. I'm going on about my life. But then, start drinking. Like,
So you were completely aware of how self-destructive you would become and just accepted it as okay.
Because I looked at it as pretty much screw everybody around me or anybody who wants to cut me off. I'm now who I am. I loved it for a little bit, for a long time.
So you were aware how self-destructive you were being.
Oh, of course.
Right? And you didn't care.
No, not at all.
How did it feel when your friends and family started pulling away? Did that do anything to the inside, or you still didn't care at that point?
Did something to the inside, but only gave me more of a reason to justify it and drink more.
So it actually tipped you away.
It's kind of like, screw it. Nobody wants to be around me, whatever the case may be. So why not continue to drink and pity my sorrows, It just made me drink more.
Did it become just like a cycle of, well, they don't want me, so I'm going to go numb? Or was it just more, I'm just going to have fun?
More so, like, I'm going to have fun. I really don't even care anyways, Deep down, I did, of course. But whenever you're like super blacked out drunk, like you really don't care. Like I spent a lot of time with one of my best friends, like staying with him, like just being over at his house. And that was more so 2017. Started being with him like all the time. And then 2020, just pretty much like every day living with him, couch surfing, like
just drinking.
Yeah, every day, 4 a.m. and just all day.
Was he also an alcoholic, or he just allowed you to?
I guess only he can say if he's an alcoholic or not.
Did he also party?
Yeah, me and him partying.
Okay,
yeah.
So there was a bonding there.
Right. Yeah,
screw everyone else. We're just going to be who we are.
We're doing what we do.
Okay.
He was more so like, he's more controlling. Like he don't get blacked out. He's functional, not me.
You were not functional. That actually, I think, led to your hitting bottom. Because people who can control it takes a whole lot longer to hit those lower echelons of rock bottom than someone who can't control it.
Oh, for sure.
Because you're being forced at that point to make something. And for you, so let's talk about this. It was your body. You ended up in the hospital in like 2020. You had jaundice?
Oh, yeah. So jaundice, and then I had alcoholic hepatitis.
Right.
I think is I was so out of it back then. I didn't even know what it was. I just heard hepatitis and thought I was like,
done.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not what it is.
Right.
But they're like alcoholic hepatitis. So I'm like, no.
You're just slowly killing your liver.
And then they said I had something like called gastritis. Something right here.
It's like a reflux type of thing.
Yeah, from drinking. If it blows, it can kill you or something. I think the doctors would come in there and they, they're like, dude, how old are you again? And I'm like 20, 21. They're like, you got the liver of a 50-year-old. I give it, at the rate you're going, I give it until 27, 30. And it was like, you'll be dead. Or if not, already diagnosed with cirrhosis or something crazy, colon, I guess. At the time, like that's 7 years from now, 10 years from now.
No, you're actively trying to kill yourself. Just not quick. It's going to be slow and painful. You don't realize on the back end because you don't know what it's like to have cirrhosis.
Right.
Right. We kept saying like, but you don't know what that does to you.
That's just so crazy because my uncle actually died in 2019 from, I believe it was cirrhosis. He was hardcore alcoholic and we seen his downgrade. But yet again, it still fired me up to drink and numb pain,
Without knowing it, the wanting to numb the pain is just the most important thing.
Right. Yeah, literally.
And I don't even know if you were aware of the amount of pain that you were in.
Probably not. I had the tough boy, like I don't feel none of it. But really, it's like I'm hurting so much that I'm numbing it by, of course, like drinking and everything. But then I started getting drunk and either raging or like just crying and whatnot.
So you told me that when the emotions started kicking in without being able to control them was when you started hitting your darkest points.
Right.
Right. So let's go there. What was happening?
Like literally I was drinking so much to where so much during that time had already went on. She's not to blame for it all. The girlfriend at the time.
It's a trigger.
Right. At the time she was to blame. The girl that I was with, my first love, we was together for multiple years. Around the same time my cousin died, she tried to like come back around. And that was kind of like the pick of like our first spree of dating for a long time. Things just ended up happening between me and her that caused me to be really hurt. And so I would drink to numb it. But then I was on top of that, I was numbing the death of my cousin. I was numbing just so much other things that was just going on. So what I would do is I would drink and I would reminisce about like the things that she's done, because it don't matter what I done, right? It matters what you done. So I'm gonna get drunk and then I'm gonna sit in these thoughts and then I'm gonna cause problems is what I'm gonna do. And so I would get like just hammered and instantly like cause fights. And that's how it started. That's how it all started. But then even as me and her was like split up and not together, now I'm hurt because we're split up. There's some, anytime like there in those days, I was a ticking time bomb. And like whoever can say something wrong to me, look at me wrong thing, and I'm going to crash out.
Right.
I'm going to go nuts. I've had points where my mom like would try to calm me down. I forgot what she done to me. And this was like a night I had to call the cops on me, my own family, because I'm kicking all the doors in my house down, kicking them down, and it wasn't even our house or my house at all, but it was my sister's, she was just letting us stay there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like kicking all the freaking doors down, just blacked out, angry. I think it was because my ex-girlfriend's friends came and picked her up and I did not want her to go. I wanted you to go, but as soon as she was about to,
You don't want her to go.
yeah,
Right.
there's so many times I can't really remember straight.
It's just irrational. I think that's just really like the suppression of anger for so many things has to come out. So it's going to come out even if it's irrational.
Right.
It like just needs to leave your body.
Yeah.
The same thing with the crying, where you had these crying episodes where you'd wake up crying and you just couldn't stop. And you really had no idea why you were crying.
Right. That I went through that, even being in blackout mode, talking to my friends, everything would be fine, just normal conversation. And then I'm just like bawling to it. They're like, dude, you was like crying so bad last night.
Oh, yeah.
It's embarrassing.
Well, again, that's just the release of the body. Right. It's storing so much emotion and you're doing your best to suppress it through drinking and numb it, but it's got to express somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So either ticking time bomb with the anger or deep depression. And then you could mix in some manic in there, because when you're not quite totally blacked out, but you're feeling good, then you're a little manic. Right. Hard for the body to process. What helped you choose something different instead of giving up?
Honestly, I was burnt. I was wore out. I was tired. I turned 20. I didn't want to drink. It was just I was so far in it. And if I didn't drink, then I was like happened to be sick. I was having like
the withdrawals.
And my withdrawals wasn't baby withdrawals. Like my withdrawals were like shaking, having seizures, psychosis. Came a little bit later once I started going to rehab, because I was like cold turkey quitting at those times. But I don't know. I didn't want to at all. It's just I had to. Felt what it was doing actually to me.
At what point did that happen to you? From the, I don't care, I'm just going to kill myself, to, wow, I don't really want to drink anymore, but I can't not. Was there an event that happened, or was it just this gradual realization?
I started going to church during 2020, and my pastor, he knew what he was doing. The Lord says, come as you are. So I came as I was. I thought my pastor would be like, dude, no, you're not coming to my church. I used to go in there like drunk or drinking with a sippy cup of liquor. And he knew it, and I probably went okay with it. The Lord says, come as you are, and I'll carry your burdens. And so we would start going out to eat afterwards. Even by that time, I'm sitting there with my pastor, because I'm not drunk no more. I drank all my liquor throughout the service. I'm sitting there shaking, real anxious. And, I just started turning more towards the Lord. And whether I knew it or not, he was working on my life.
Oh, sure.
More than what I knew.
Just his presence, just your stepping into a place of worship, is asking
help. I was always a believer. Like I went through some crazy times where I was evil. I felt it, but I was just so ready to quit. So I started going back to church, getting into it. My pastor was like picking me up. We're going out to eat. We're going out with like other, like me, not like me, but just after service. And some of them wasn't even struggling, but he thought it was a great idea. He's just like, you have a voice, something you're meant for. And there was one time as we're going through it, I even dipped off and like went and lived in Florida for a month, threw it all away and just kept messing up, came back, and then went through like a couple more months of the drinking, but still going to church. Little did I know God was working behind the scenes, because I woke up randomly. I think it was in 2021. Yeah. So my first time going to rehab on my own, not court ordered, was February of 2021. And I just remember I literally woke up and was just like, I'm drinking like a 175 of cheap vodka, like cheap, because I got $10, but I don't care about the bottle I just bought. I'm worried about the next bottle.
Yes.
after this one? What am I going to do when this one's gone? I got to have $4 left, right?
Yeah.
I'm sitting there by my little niece, and at the time she's a 7, and I'm just like chilling. We're watching cartoons together, and I'm drinking.
So this is like 6 o'clock in the morning. You're drinking your vodka, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's kind of like the happiest little camper, but she knows what I'm doing. She's probably used to it at that point. And I just remember I started crying. It was like, I need help. This is a problem. So I tell my parents, I'm going to rehab, have them come get me.
Did you subconsciously or consciously see yourself in her? It's like that generational pattern.
Honestly, I honestly don't know.
Because at like 6 or 7, that's what you were watching.
Right.
Drinking at 6 o'clock in the morning was very normal. So I wonder now, like you said, oh my gosh, I'm doing this in front of my niece.
Yeah.
At a subconscious level, were you like, wow?
It was one of those things where I was so drunk that my emotions started coming out. I started crying, and I just didn't want to do it no more. It was all little by little building up, but now it's finally to that point where I need help. What am I going to do? I can't remember if this was a time I had my mom and them call the rehab to come get me, or if I was too drunk and they called them to come get me.
Was this your first time in rehab?
No, at this point in time, it was my 3rd time this time, because in 6 months I went 3 times.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that journey of, even though you decide you want to quit, or you're going into rehab, or someone's telling you have to, how the struggle is just still there. It's not usually a one and done.
It's not. It was multiple times in jail, multiple rehabs. It is multiple rehabs, but honestly, I got blessed because I know of people that's been to rehabs 15, 20 times. I'm like, man, 5 times to me, like, that's a lot, 5 times.
And there were some that you went into on your own, and there were some that were court ordered because of some of your arrests. You just go because that's your sentence.
Right.
Right.
You're just like, well, if I can do rehab, I'd rather be in here than jail.
So how many times did you go court ordered versus how many times did you try on your own?
Court ordered, I went 2 times. And the second one I was sent to, I relapsed in there, and I left there and turned myself in.
So at that point, because you didn't finish rehab, you actually had to finish a jail sentence.
Yeah. It was a 6-month sentence, but I got out in 4 months due, I believe it was to COVID. Plus I had county good time. But I literally got out of March 20th of 2020. So COVID was real in its prime getting there. And I think that's whenever I just started like letting people be released.
Yeah, nonviolent offender.
I was pumped up, I'm like, Mom, I'm about to go through all these like AA meetings. And she's like, everything's shut down.
Well, that must have been really rough to find any kind of support coming out.
Right. I just had to start drinking again.
Yeah.
The first day.
That's
I was
just setting you up. It's not going to happen.
Right. And it wasn't open. So I was like, let's see if this is true. Let's see if I'm a real deal alcoholic. I drank that night. First time drinking in 4 or 5 months. Super drunk. Threw up all over myself. Yep. Woke up the next morning, hungover. The way to fix the hangover is to drink more.
So you just started right back up.
Right on a bender, literally much straight, where it's just like, oh my God, 2 weeks have already went by. And I was supposed to quit the next day after.
When did it stick? What was the stint that made the difference for you?
So that first time I went into rehab on my own, I ended up going through psychosis. I believe there's a certain amount of drugs that you do or alcohol you can do before there's gates open, like the spirit realm. I seen demons and I seen Satan myself.
Was that the psychosis you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I went into the rehab, went into psychosis, was hospitalized for 5 days.
Was that a mental psych-hold, or was that more your body?
That was my body withdrawn and cold turkey quitting.
Okay.
I guess because I was drinking soaky. Of course, they try to give me meds at the facility I was at. We had nurses on standby and everything. But I was also fighting the sleep med that they was giving me to sleep everything off. I was up with very lack of sleep for like 3 days before I even went to the hospital 4 days. And then finally on the 4th day, they're like, okay, this kid is he needs help. Like, he needs actual doctor help. Mm-hmm. And because I'm telling you, it got as bad as like police had to come out there and make sure I was good. Okay. Some things I don't remember. I remember like looking at certain people, but seeing demons beside them or a different person beside them. I was in my head mentally, I was going nuts. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of really honestly scared me once I came to, I woke up and was in the hospital and just kind of looking around, and they're like, do you know where you're at? And I'm looking at all the IBs. I'm like, I guess the hospital. I don't know what else to tell you.
Right.
They're like, who's the president? I'm like, I don't know. What day is it? I don't know. What year is it? I couldn't tell you.
Wow.
Only thing I tell you is I'm in the hospital and I know my name and that's it. Now that I healed from it, I remember a lot of things about it.
Sure.
But at that time, I was just kind of like, what am I doing here? So I ended up getting out that first time in rehab, going through all that. And I was just kind of like, that was not fun. I don't want to do that again. But of course, I think it was like my first or second day out. I went to Applebee's with my brother.
Had a drink.
Yeah, had a drink.
Did you still think that like you could just have one and you'd be like a normal social drinker?
Oh, yeah, I thought I was strong.
It's not an issue being strong, though. Like, your body can't do it.
At that time, I thought it was just like that mental thing of like, I just have to say no. But if I have one, I just have to say no to it. I drank that one. I did good. And my terms, I woke up the next day and was like, beer, cool. Drink a beer, nothing. Man, I'm on 3 days now. I'm like, I'm doing good. I've been able to handle myself. That didn't work. That just sent me on the month bender. Because now I'm hungover, so I need something to help me, get over the hangover. And like, I'm sitting here throwing up, but if I can just get these shots in my bloodstream,
I'll be good.
Yeah, I'll be good. I start going broke around a month mark. So I went in February. I went back in April on my own the second time. I woke up again. At this point, I wasn't even really hanging out with like my friend too much anymore. I was more so just staying at my parents' house, locked away, just watching YouTube in the dark with a bottle. And it was like, hey, dude, you want to come out and go to a party? I don't want to do none of this. I just want to drink. So now you're becoming reclusive drinking. Yeah, it's not fun anymore. Right. I woke up broke, withdrawn. So I was like, I need to be medical, like, watched. So I went back to rehab. This is your second time. And you went on your own again? Went on my own again, yeah. Okay. In a way, it was almost like a relief and like a vacation. Sure. Somebody else take care of you. Yeah, of like freedom. It was just like, oh man, I get to rest, get some sleep, eat good, meet all kinds of crazy good people. Yeah. There were so many people that was back in there for like the first few times that I went, where it's like, dude, like, I know you. Yeah. I met you like 2 years ago out here. Wow, like, so cool. We're back here. At least we made it, right? Yeah. I ended up getting out. I lasted this time like a week out. It was like, like, just try it again. I can just do that one beer, man. Yeah, I can just do it. If I can do it. I honestly think the second time I got out, I skipped like the beer. I just went ahead and went straight to liquor. Back to liquor? Yeah. At the time, I was trying to do like the YouTube thing, coming straight off of like being sober. At the time, I was like, I have to drink in order to do like this funny stuff, get in front of the camera, talk, like all this other things. So I remember I was with a couple of friends and we was like, hey, let's just start filming. But everything was awkward at first. And I was just kind of like, bro, like, I don't even know what to do or to say. Because we was just vlogging. We wasn't doing anything really crazy. That was really popular at that time. Right. People were getting into that YouTube. Right. So I was like, you know what? Screw this. Watch this. It's only a pint and I'm done tomorrow. Only a pint, guys. It's only a pint. And they're like, dude, no, you shouldn't. All my friends are like, bro, no. I'm like, shut up. I'm 21. It's for the show. 20. Believe me, guys, we're going to blow up big. And of course, that was just all excuses. That way I could drink. That way they'd shut up and leave me the hell alone. So I walked down the road to the liquor store, woke up the next day sick. It was like, here we go again. Here we go. A whole month bender. Another month. And all throughout 2020, 2021, I honestly really let go of myself. During those times, I'm not homeless. My parents always gave me a home to stay at. You didn't have what I wanted, so I wasn't coming there. Yeah, I'd rather be. What's the rules thing, right? Like you can come here, but A, B, C, and D. Right. No, thank you. Yeah, no, I'm good. My mom had to like threaten me a lot with Casey's law, which means if it's bad enough, she can go get like a lawyer. Like, the judge can get a hold of me without even any trouble and make me go to rehab. Go for it, like I ain't doing that. At the time, I wasn't scared or I didn't care. I'll run, you know. But, I just looked homeless, like hygiene, everything. Like I've done embarrassing things being super, super drunk. And then that third time, I just kept going back to that one rehab because it was, like I said, a vacation. But this last time I went, they're like, do you want to be done? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, you can't go back home. You just can't. You got to do something else. So I was looking in variety homes in Louisville, because that's where Landmark was. And from Louisville, I'm about 2 hours away. I was like, cool, 2 hours away, I should be good. But then I had a lot of friends and even the workers there start pushing for me to come here. To California? Yeah, and I'm like, hell no. Why would I go to California? Well, it's so far away. Right. But then I started thinking, if I start applying pressure to myself and if I keep myself in California, what is mom and dad going to do? Drive 30 hours to come get me? No. Am I going to fly by myself? At that time, I never flown before. I'm like, no, I'm not flying by myself. Never going to happen. I was like, no, I'm not going. But then I had like 7 to 10 other friends coming down here as well, and all doing the same program that I went through. So it gave me a little comfort.
Okay.
So I was like, screw it, let's go to California. Mark has contracts built with like programs down here.
Did the text that suggested go to California, what was it about? Because you could have gone anywhere.
Right. It was a lot of people came out here and found success. A lot of people that come from Kentucky or just other states,
Sure.
you know, they came down here and found success. What really attracted me was more so like, oh, I'm going to do this whole YouTube thing. You know? So I was like, it's California, perfect place to do it. The people down there are easy to mess with and get reactions out of. So I was like, a 6-month program, $200 a month. I can get a job, minimum wage out here. It's like $16 at the time. So I was like, oh, dude, that's a lot of money. Like, you know,
well, comparatively, right? You don't know the cost of living out here. Matches.
Right. You know, and then they're like $200 a month because the food was free at the house.
Right.
Like weekly, they went shopping for each person. And I was like, dude, I'm going to save so much money, be able to do so much. I ended up doing a whole 30-day phase 1, which was like 2 AAs a day for Monday through Friday, and then 1 AA Saturday and Sunday. But then I had group on top of that at the program. So it was like wake up early in the morning, pretty much go to school, from school, go to an AA. We wouldn't get back home for the first 30 days until we was out 9 hours a day.
It was pretty scheduled then.
Right. And we was free around the house. We had all the food, like cornhole.
So do you feel like it was like set up for becoming successful at staying sober? That
I would say so, yeah. Yeah, it definitely, it helped me. It helped a lot of people I went through with. Some people have slipped up, but you know, it's part of the process. After phase 1 is when I went to phase 2, and that's where I really started to find myself because I was even more free then. That's whenever I was to get that job. From that job, we only had to do 5 AA meetings a week, and that's Monday through Sunday. So it's like, dude, you can knock out 5 AA meetings super quick.
I think the point that we need to focus on, though, is that you actually stayed sober.
Right. Like literally. And I never did none of the AA stuff, never got into it.
No, which just wasn't for you. Right? Everybody has their different programs.
And then that's how I look at it. I have no problem with AA. If I have a friend that wants me to go to an AA meeting with them, I'll go with them just to get them comfortable.
You have proven to found whatever works for you, works for you.
Right.
And that's really the goal.
It's been 4 years. I don't know what the life throws in front of me, but as long as I'm watching my footstep and I'm aware of my triggers, my surroundings, and things like that.
Can we talk a little bit about the people that were sent to you in different forms that helped you along your path?
Of course.
So there was a time where you were doing your court-ordered jail.
Yeah.
And what was your job in jail?
So my job in jail was to work like the Sally Port, which is washing cop cars. So I had this young cop that would always come through taking people in, but would speak to me. I was 19 or 20, and I guarantee you this kid was every bit of like 25, 26, super young, you know, young for a cop. But when he brought people in, I would wash every cop car. I was bored. If no cops were coming through, I was not washing cars, and I was sitting there just like in a garage, just sitting there. I finally started working out and stuff. But anyways, he's like, you do such a crazy good of a job. Why don't you get out here and start like detailing? I would support you. I would get my friends, my other coworkers, like all this other stuff to like start supporting you. And I was just like, dude, I would give it a shot, but like, right now I'm just in jail and I'm just bored.
Doing my time.
Yeah, like I was actually going in on the outside of these cars. Like the cops were kind of like, dude, like, you know, and they're leaving and their cars are just like shining.
Right.
And a lot of them have told me, they're like, I'm just used to like the worker, like just zigzagging it or whatever. Because of course, when you're in, you know, you don't respect the cops stuff. They're like, I'm not washing that car, you know, like they're like calling them B words and everything. And they're like, I'm not doing his car. I'm like, dude, I'm like super bored. So I'm going to wash that car and I'm going to get every square inch of it. But they noticed it. Right. And everything happens for a reason, I believed in. And sure, he stuck with me this whole time. Even whenever I got out, I went through the whole drinking thing again for me, I guess about 11 months straight. Yeah. But even throughout the whole drinking process, it stuck with me. Yeah. Because I got out and like sometimes I would even wash my friend's car, like vacuum it and everything for literally like low dollars because I needed to go get a bottle.
I was going to say you needed your next drink.
He didn't know what it was for, but I was like, yeah, dude, I'll do that
for $20.
Yeah, 10, 20 bucks. He's like, okay. I'm like, hey, I'll be right back. I'm going to get me like liquor and I'm like hiding it.
People don't really know. And And you're the only one because you
Right.
show your different faces and it's throughout the
Right.
day. So no one else follows you around. But
Right. I was a road runner. I didn't live on the streets. And I was super fortunate enough to not have to like go homeless and eat out of trash cans. Probably would have had to go through some things if I didn't have friends and family,
Ooh,
certain family. You know,
absolutely.
some,
Well, that might have been good for you. It's not cool.
right.
It all came to how it's supposed to be. So you had these police officers while you're in jail telling you, you're actually really good at this.
Yeah.
Were they more than just starting detailing? Were they giving you bits of advice like, dude, how many times are you going to go to jail before you die? Or
Right.
the life you're living, do you find that was a messenger in disguise?
No, 100%.
Right?
Like 100%, because his face and everything still sticks with me to this day. And when I got down here and completed my program, I was getting my own apartment and I got to figure out something to do to make more money.
The YouTube thing wasn't going well.
No, I wasn't going well. You know, it wasn't even really going at all. I made like a few videos, but like the people that I brought down it ain't nothing when it's planned. It was supposed to be grind mode. I'm going to bring my friends out here from KY. I'm like, nobody worked. You know, that's how I found you on Facebook. I needed extra rent money. And then I came to you.
And it was like, he's local. And it was like, hey, I'm detailing cars. And I just thought, all right, I'm going to give this kid a chance. Because he looks honest. I kind of read energy. I was like, he's got good energy. Let's see what he's got.
I was already hyping myself up about it. Like, oh, I'm going to start detailing. If worse comes to worse, I work this job here and at least I make maybe a few hundred to 1,000 extra a month just doing cars.
You're hustling.
Right. And I spent, I think it was like $700 or $800 worth of detail equipment. I had no experience really in actual detailing then.
Other than the cop cars how long was your sentence?
It was 4 months altogether.
Okay. Washing cop cars for 4 months?
Right. And the thing is, even during that time, I was probably honestly washing those cop cars wrong. Same sponge, same like everything.
Right. You learn as you go though, right?
Yeah. Like their cars were probably swirled and everything. But now I started watching YouTube videos. There was times after I left Missouri, I would go do like a car for like $70, but I was out there for like 3, 4, 5 hours. Yeah. And clients are like, dude, are you all right out here? And I'm just like, yeah. And I'm like watching these videos like,
right. You're learning as you go.
How do I get all this dog hair? And even they was coming out and paying me like $200, $300, $400. And I'm just kind of like,
well, you're just putting in the time.
Right. They're like, man, this kid's like going in, you know. It ended up taking off after buying all of that stuff. I was nervous. I really didn't have the money to buy it. I guess I did, but also rent was coming up too. So I'm like, well, Lord, take me as you will. And I bought it and literally doubled it, maybe a little over doubled it within that same week. And that moment on, I knew I was special. Like I knew something was different about what I'm doing, you know. Started off at Surrey. That's where I made most of the money. And I was like, dang, you people are going to support me. They're like, yeah, dude.
You got a lot of your clients from used to work at a pet spa.
Right. I guess that was the perfect place because all the dog hair, they all had dogs, you know, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I did that. But then I posted like all these other Facebook pages and it was just like, I need help and washing cars. Anybody mind if I wash your car? And I'd bring the good energy, be honest, integrity driven. And literally like afterwards, I'd be like, hey, would you guys mind to maybe give me a review or post me on Facebook again?
Can I take some pictures of your car?
Right. And people are like, dude, yeah, no, I already had that plan. I'm posting you. Like, this is excellent. So they just kept going. And it's built up to where it's at now. But now, you know, I'm a little bit more in it. You're
established.
Right.
We'll call it. Doing great.
And there's things I'm still working on.
Oh, honey, life, you're 26. You will continue working on it in some other way. But I think that the wonderful thing is that you see it and you're willing to.
Oh, yeah.
Even from what I would consider, not condescendingly, but a very young age, you have been given experiences where you have gleaned wisdom beyond your years.
Right.
And you're humble about it and you're still moving it forward.
Right.
So the sky's the limit for you. I mean, you might not be detailing in 10 years or you might have a fleet. Like you can take the things that you have learned very much the hard way and apply that to any aspect of life and you're going to be fine.
Right.
Do you really believe that?
100%. Oh, yeah. And so much I've even learned, even though I had to go through so much, because even a lot of what we've talked about still doesn't dive deep into like things like seeing or went through as far as like even having power shut off and things like that. But seeing mom come out of what she came out of and work as hard as she did to get a master's degree, and then just seeing dad just working like that, like it's normal to provide for family. There'd be times Dad would have to like leave town for a week, and he would only come back like on Saturdays or Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, but he worked like 3 hours away. There was one time he worked in Alabama, was literally driving back on Fridays, and then was having to get up Sunday, like 2 a.m., drive all the way to Alabama. As soon as he got there, had to start his construction job because that's what he was in pretty much his whole life, mostly. And then do that whole week without us being around or him being around, and then come back, see us Friday, Saturday.
He instilled in you that you take care of family.
Work.
You provide for your family. If you're going to have a family, better provide for it.
Right.
So for you now being sober and having your own business and starting your own family,
right?
You know, those foundational things, even in all the messy chaos and the messy love, because the love was always there, thank God.
Right.
Your foundations are still really strong.
Right.
I've seen him with his family, and they are it for you. Your father, he did a really good job because he instilled that it's family first.
Right. And that's what I've learned since literally young, family first. And I always thought, I mean, maybe it is just like a Southerner thing, you know, it's just growing up like that. That's what I've always was programmed. Family first.
Family first. I don't know if that's an Asian thing too, but yeah, cultural, it could be. I don't know. I think it's really what gets you through the hard times. And I know that even when we're pushing it away and we don't want it and we don't care, something about knowing that it's just still there, even if you just want it or don't want it.
Right.
There's a sense of strength that it gives you.
For sure. And, you know, that's just what I was shown. And of course, I was always told, and I still live it this way, but God first, the Lord first. But through that, no, you don't have to say, oh, yeah, sorry, guys, I'm putting God first. If that makes sense. Like you put God first and everything adds up, falls into place.
You just live.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, when we talk about religion versus God versus spirituality, you can present it however you want it, but it's living in gratitude, being thankful and giving gratitude for the blessings that you have just brings more.
Right.
You can do that through going through a church. You can do that through having a direct connection with God. You can call that the universe. That's all you.
Right.
You know, it's not preachy. It's an energy thing. Right. It's the way you live your life.
Right.
And that you give back when you can. And I'm not even talking monetarily. I'm talking about the kind words. The, oh man, I'm sorry you're going through that.
Yep.
The hugging your daughter. Like all of that comes back.
Right.
Tenfold. Because you're doing it not to get something back.
Right.
Right?
And no, it's exactly right. Like I'm not expecting nothing.
No, that's the whole phrase, living from the inside out. That's just living from love. Right? And accepting that shitty things happen to good people and we choose shitty too sometimes, but it doesn't define you
at all.
And it should never define now or future.
Right.
It could have defined your past, sure, because you have to own that.
Right.
But that just doesn't have to be.
No, you have to get to a certain point, like we said before, where, you know, you got to take accountability for your own.
It's the only way to grow.
Yeah.
If you don't own anything, if you don't take accountability, that doesn't mean it's all your fault. Right. You don't have to go to the other end, but there's no growth that happens.
Right.
Right.
Finally, you have to say, like, it's over. I'm grown enough to now I can heal from it.
Yeah.
Because I've learned from it. I can heal from it now and do different, do better. And some of it, of course, it probably take an actual, like, a healthy lifestyle in order to do that. No matter if it's something as simple as eating healthier, just to give you more energy.
We need that a little bit here, especially where you're at in California too, is it's very sunshine, exercise, good food choices. There's a little bit to that.
That helped me tremendously first coming out here. And, you know, because when I first came out here, I was only 40 days sober. Oh. But throughout the whole process of just seeing how happy people was, seeing every day is not the same for the most part.
Right.
Because back home it is.
Yeah.
People wake up, they hate their jobs, they hate where they live, they hate like just all, and home is forever home to me. Kentucky's like my home. Oh, like California's great. I love California. This is also now home. But just the way people was living there, like I was seeing, you know, driving these like super nice cars and, you know, like nice houses and everything. And I'm just like
exercising at the beach.
Right. I'm like, dude, like, you don't see a whole lot of obese people, and you're just like, these people are like happy. They're up getting after it early in the morning. And, you know, like we were saying before, like sometimes it could be like a bad thing. Sometimes it can be a good thing. You just got to find
your own balance.
Yeah, the balance. Because like back at home, it was nice too, because not everything is fast paced. It's also like, hey, we can sit back and smell the roses, you know,
sure.
Like, we can stop and just actually have time to think and recoup.
Okay.
Sometimes here, if you let it get ahead of you, where you just go, 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 go. And then before you know it, you're 6 days in the week already. And I've been out every day, sunrise to sunset.
Sure. It's the conscious balance. Like if you
Yeah.
want to be on the go, go, go here, there's certainly the opportunity
You
to.
can do it. You can
But
do it.
it's also very important to find that balance of like, let me just pause.
Right.
Let me just take this day or this hour or whatever you got, and let me just be.
Make sure you maintain the healthiness behind it all. Health plays a lot with sobriety, just how you feel, the body in general. No matter, like, you have to start eating properly. You have to start exercising, walking, whatever, clearing your mind, having personal time alone, even time out with your friends. You need time with your friends, and you also need time alone. Because, like, I've noticed sometimes, like yesterday, I was thinking about it. I was out riding my e-bike by myself at nighttime, and I was just kind of in a mood, just sad a little bit, because, like, I'm like, I don't have really no friends out here more so. And it's like, I need that social life. I don't want to go to bars and clubs to be a social
you just have
person.
to find people that connected. And it is hard here. That's the thing about the fast pace. It's hard to slow down to find real connection.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, I need that type of stuff, like the social life, or just, and then sometimes I need the lonely.
I need a lot of alone time. I spend a lot of time alone.
And it's just a matter of balancing it and just figuring out that health for your body that way, because all of that will play role together and make you feel amazing. Just,
well, we talked about the premise for the podcast, the premise for body awareness method, which is sort of my thing, is that there's a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual body. And so you have to nurture all of those in order to be whole. So starting by, like you said, a good diet and being in a right environment, all of those play into each of the bodies for your mental health, your emotional well-being, your spiritual ability to stay connected. It starts with the physical, because that's the house. That's the house that houses your soul. So what does sobriety feel like today?
It feels absolutely amazing. I feel like it's starting to become that norm for me. I don't struggle with being sober. Dude, I'm still learning my body myself. I went through more years being drunk than being sober so far. So I'm still figuring out a lot about myself. I think that sometimes even my own body is thrown off, like subconsciously. It's just like, what's going on? You know, my 1 year mark, when I hit 1 year sober, I went through a horrible panic anxiety attack. And I think subconsciously, it could have been my body, like my mind knowing, like, hold on, what's going on? It's been a year, you know.
You're not abusing us anymore. What's going on?
But all in all, it's been the best thing that I could have ever done to and for my life. I have a baby girl now, 2 years old, soon to be one day, like, close wife, you know. So I would never have these things.
No.
Being a drinker, even my business, any of it.
It just wouldn't have been able to grow. You might have started and stumbled.
I tell people right now, if I start drinking, it's over with.
It is. Everything's over. And you have things that are of value to you, the things that are at stake. It's not worth it anymore.
At all.
Right?
At all.
So how do you handle life stresses now without your old patterns? Your patterns would be to drink and numb, or to not care.
Well, it's so wild because I'm actually diagnosed ADHD. Being ADHD, I'm always a lot of chaos anyway. I think I'm kind of used to it. Sometimes, like, I'm on the go detailing, but I'm also having to schedule 5-10 people or do it when I get home. So that builds so much stress on me to where sometimes I got to shut down and I'm just like, all right, just give me a second. I have to, like, reset my whole mind, slow down. Like, I'll stop doing what I'm doing, everything, for like 10 minutes, sit there, like, just breathe. And then it's like, okay. And just remember, you know, step by step, get one thing done at a time. And don't try to do 5 things at once. Because me being ADHD, I'm sitting there, like, trying to schedule, but I'm also, like,
I'm still detailing over here.
Or I'm, like, at home, like, scheduling and, like, doing laundry. And then, like, I take the laundry out and I'll leave the wet clothes on top of the dryer. And then, like, I'll run into the other room to do something else. And then, you know, an hour later, I'm like, oh yeah, I got to go check
laundry. And now you got to redo it because it's like mildew. Multitasking does not work. I always try to multitask. And now if you just slow down enough, you feel so much better about yourself too. If you just get the one thing done. Like, it's just something off the list. And it feels good to accomplish something versus, oh no, but I'm going to get these 5 things done all at once. Having a mental breakdown doing it.
And you look around, you're like, did I even get anything done?
No,
'Cause
and even if you did, it doesn't feel like it.
don't feel like it. Yes.
Oh,
So
that's great advice.
I would say, yeah, slowing down and, you know, working with your stresses one by one, whatever is stressing you, working them one by one, no matter if it's like if you got 5 different things eating you at once, if you try to do all 5 at once, oh my
You'll just
gosh,
get nowhere.
nowhere. And then your next thing you know, you're literally having like mental breakdowns.
Yeah.
Or you just want to quit, give up on life. Like literally, like there's
Yeah,
been times I'm like, I'm
I
done
can see that.
detailing.
I'm done.
I'm like,
It's
oh,
too stressful.
yeah.
But then I'm like, pause,
Mhm.
breathe, take a time out.
Right.
Then you're like, okay, it's not so bad.
One thing at
And
a
there
time.
might be a time where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, but you want it to come from your gut and your heart,
Right.
not because your head says you can't do it.
Right.
Right?
For sure.
Because when you're done, it's just like when you were finally done with drinking and then now you've got this great life and it's not worth even risking.
At all.
You're done.
Right. And I'm so aware of everything, of my surroundings, my triggers, my everything. I would never do this.
No, you never risk it.
Yeah, never. Like, it's like, man, like I've been so long without it. Like could I risk it? Because I'm not dealing with any of my hurt no more. Right. You know, sometimes my alcoholic mind does tell me like, maybe you should just try one. But I'm like, no.
I'm glad you've built up this other treasure chest.
Yeah, it's like other side. Like,
are we going to take the things out of the treasure chest?
Right.
Or are we going to risk it?
You know, because my mind only lets me think about the good times drinking.
Of course.
That's all my mind lets me process.
Because it wants the taste of it again, right? That's the genealogy part of it too for you.
For sure.
So what do you hope your daughter understands about your path and your growth as she gets older?
Hope she understands what it can bring a person to, what it can bring you down to. Alcohol was literally my God. If alcohol said jump, I asked how high.
That's an interesting way to put it.
I hope she really understands what it can do to a person, you know, and is fully self-aware of her decisions that she's going to make in the long run.
Yeah.
She will 100% know about my past, family past, what I've done, who I was, you know, just to hopefully try to let her just realize, you know, because they say it goes one of two ways. My dad comes from an alcoholic family too. So it's just bound to hit me, like his side, my mom's side, like both sides.
Yeah.
But my dad seeing, you know, his dad going through it and his mom and dad fighting, grew up kind of hardcore like that, just seeing a bunch of fighting, arguing. And seeing that, it made him not want it. With me, I guess it just went the other way with me. I was like, oh man, it's normal.
It's kind of luck of the draw. You don't know.
Chaos.
Some people just fall into it because it's familiar. Right. I don't think there's any studies or there's no, oh, this is the way you're going to go.
Right.
Like I said, it's luck of the draw.
Luck of the draw.
You know, nature versus nurture. We can have those conversations for a long time.
Right.
I try to do with my kids in their learning process. And it sounds like this is what you're doing with your daughter is it's just using your lessons, telling them about your lessons, not in a preachy way, but this is what I learned. This is where I went. Yeah. And then allowing that marinate so that they have more information when life comes and gives them, there are opportunities for growth.
Yes.
What are they going to do with it? I think both my kids, Nate's like 19, almost 20, Lucy's almost 22, very much further along in their awareness. I had none of this awareness when I was their age. I was just, right?
Right.
And so they have more awareness of their opportunities and their challenges that they're going to face or that are facing and different tool to be able to address them.
Right.
That personal journey to that, like you said, you still figured out who you are. It never stops.
Ever.
I keep learning really cool things about myself or stuff that I was like, oh, I'm not that anymore.
Right.
You know, you say goodbye to certain things.
You get to look at growth.
Yeah. And so I think that if we teach our children growth mindsets,
right? Like
you might have fallen down in this, but you just pick yourself right back up because it doesn't define you.
Look at how far you look at what you've done in the past 2 weeks and how much you've grown from doing that one thing.
But being able to hold that space for a young person, even though you're so young, to me, you're young. That's the best kind of family that you can have. And so not even just that feeling of family is present, but you're really choosing to make an investment in being present in her growth.
Yeah.
And making her aware of the opportunities of growth. It's not failure. It's not success. Everything is growth.
Right.
What did you learn?
Yes.
You know, you could have had a good outcome or a bad outcome, but I always go back to what did you learn?
Right.
I mean, that's the most important thing because there's where the growth is going to come from.
Yes.
Right. And that's where you find peace. It's like I said, it could be good. Oh, good does not equal happy. Bad does not equal sad. It's just if I can shift my perspective of what did I learn? What am I going to do with what I learned? My baseline goes back to that happy.
Yeah, I totally agree. A lot of it to me was figuring out like more things that I like to do to maybe help me deal with a certain situation, you know?
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, totally. You know, for certain triggers, you know, sometimes if I'm getting down and maybe my brain is telling me about all the drinking days and I have like that nostalgia going on, I'll have to go play like basketball or go on a walk.
But it's so good that you have to redirect because that's the devil speaking in your head.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's the addictive gene pool that you inherited on both sides.
Yeah.
And so even just having the awareness that what that's really calling you.
Yeah.
So I need to go over here.
Right.
And so what you're doing from a scientific standpoint is you're rewiring your neural pathways as they're making decisions. You're like, oh, no. Oh, no. And after a while, you start to grow new synapses when we're not killing our bodies through bad things, alcohol, drugs, and so forth. Your brain is still growing all these new synapses. And then your learning creates those pathways. And so it's just like habit. It's like, oh, when I do this, I know I can correct that by going and play some basketball.
Right.
And then it starts to wire that way. I know that I need to play basketball like 3 times a week just because it keeps my dopamine up. But I can tell those pathways, I'm training them.
Super cool.
It's super cool. If someone is listening and they feel like they're at rock bottom, okay, what would you say to them?
Reach out for a hand. 100%. Yeah, I thought I could do this stuff alone. And it goes with everything in life, you know. I thought I could get sober alone, but I had like people that was willing to help me because they come from how I come from. These people at these rehab facilities was like, they're like real friends. They were so real. At first, I'm like, what the hell do you people? Like, I don't trust you.
They actually really care.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I don't trust you guys because I wasn't so used to it. Whatever the hell you're saying to me, I don't believe it. You know what I mean? And just reach out for it and don't be afraid. It goes with everything. That even goes in with like my Christianity. You know, I think I can do it all alone, but it's like, no, the Bible says you got fellowship. You got to have people out here helping you, praying for you, and form your circle of people who genuinely care.
You get to be selective of who you surround in your group.
Right.
And I think you should be.
Yeah.
Because they need to be your people.
Right.
And it takes a lifetime to build that group, that soul group.
Right.
But you got to do it.
Yeah.
And you're not alone.
It's no matter what you're going through, like those people will be there for anything. So if you're at whatever your definition of rock bottom is, those people would be there to help you, you know, pull you away from it.
Okay. So final thought. What's one truth you live by now?
Oh, man. There's so many of them. They all kind of add up into the one big truth that I live by, you know. Honesty, integrity, pride. My pride as in like things that I do, the things that I can help people with. Like I'm prideful of that, like being able to help others. I'm proud of myself, you know. Just doing what I've accomplished, not like the bad pride or not like the ego.
It's not the outside. It's what you've done on the inside.
Right. My work, I'm super like hard driven. And of course, like through those, it all comes out to my family, my friends.
Sure. I have this theory. In order to create a foundation for life, you need to have 4 pillars. And they can be different, but they have to match who you're trying to build your life with.
Right.
So you're telling me, you know, it's integrity, it's honesty, it's hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of using pride, I will say it's living from the inside out.
Right. Yeah.
I know what you mean by pride. Like I am proud of the things that I have gone through and I have overcome.
Right. I'm not like the ego pride.
Right. It's learning to live from the inside out.
Right.
And I don't have a singular word for that, and have built your foundations for your life on those 4 pillars.
Yeah.
Without even knowing it. See, that's why I said, I just have this theory. And then people come in and they match it. And I go, oh, I got to write that down.
Right.
Because it seems to be, you can't just have one. Yeah. It has to be 3-dimensional. And so to have that foundation, you need 4 pillars. Right. So the house doesn't blow down. But then you build your house. You build your family house.
Yeah.
You build your house.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. I love how you did that. That's how I built my business.
That's how you build your house. Well, construction, think of your death. You got to have the walls. You got to have the pillars.
Right.
Right. And you have to have a strong foundation, but it comes from that.
That's
so
cool. Like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's a great place to end. I am in awe of you. What you have done with the challenges, whether you created them challenges or they were just swapped right down into you for where you came in for life. I've always been in awe of you.
Thank you.
I think you're a amazing human being and you're real and you're honest. I know that it's hard to define what success is, but I know that you will have a good life.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I will.
And so thank you for coming on the show and sharing. I know one of your wants in life is to help other people. And by sharing your story and your struggles, to bring people out into the open and being more comfortable with theirs. And
Right.
I think that is a gift that you have, which is part of the reason that I'm shuffling you along on your journey as well here.
No, right. I mean, well, honestly, thank you, because this is like the first time I've ever came out with.
And if any of this resonated with people out there, you're struggling, you've got loved ones struggling, DM, comment. I will get you access to Alex if you would so like to mentor or have a real conversation. Because like I said, I think you only know if you know, right?
Of course.
So I'm going to wrap it up. Alex's story reminds us that no one is too far gone to come back. What looks like the end can become the beginning. Literally. And sometimes it takes losing everything to finally find yourself. If something in today's conversation resonated with you, share this episode with someone who needs it. If you're on your own path to healing, remember, you don't have to do it alone. And you're always worthy of a new chapter. Our shift has ended for today. I'll see you next week.